Hey guys, Trevor here with Ecommerce Paradise. Today I'm going to teach you how to start your online business and what kind of business formation steps you need to take before you do that. Okay, if it's your first time watching the channel, definitely subscribe for more videos and smash that like button. Let's get into it. So in order to form a legal business, you'll need a few things. Okay, first you're going to need to decide your business structure, which really depends on where you live. Okay, so if you live in one state versus another, they might have different rules. Usually it has to go along with what kind of assets you have before you form your business. So if you have a lot of assets like real estate or investment accounts, things like that, then you want to protect those assets, and so you'll want to form an LLC or a S Corp. Usually it's an LLC to get started because the fees are very low, and again, it really depends on what state you form in. States like California, for instance, have a franchise fee of $700 a year at least. States like Washington, for instance, have a 1% gross income tax on LLCs formed in the state. So it's a really good idea to research first which state is actually most tax friendly before you go and form your business. And if you don't have the option of moving to another state before you form your business, then you're going to have to form a business in your state or report an out-of-state business. So it really doesn't make sense to go and form in Wyoming if you're going to be living in California, because you're going to have to report that business in California anyways and pay the same taxes anyways. Okay, so again, depends on what state you live in or what state you can move to, but for the most part, you need to form a business, and I highly recommend forming an LLC. If you live in a state like California, you don't have many assets, you have an option of forming just a DBA, otherwise known as a doing business as, and it's basically a thing that says, hey, I'm doing business as this fictional business name, and you file it with the state, costs a little bit of money. You file it in a local newspaper classified, costs a little bit of money, and you're good to go. And you can then get an EIN number. That's the next step. So an EIN means employer identification number. You file that with the IRS, and it's completely free to get. And once you get that EIN, you're going to have an obligation to file taxes for that EIN at the end of the year, even if you didn't make any money. So you have to report it, okay? So get your EIN number, form your business, obviously, and then you can go get a business bank account. A checking account is really simple. You just walk into any local bank, or you can even form them online now using services like Stripe Atlas, for instance. But usually people just walk into a local bank. If you are in Washington, you can go to a Wells Fargo, you can go to a Chase, you can go to Bank of America. If you're in California, same thing. It really depends on what state you're in and what banks they have available. I highly recommend going with a bigger bank as opposed to a small bank, just because they're usually going to have easier to deal with online banking options for you. Smaller banks usually have kind of an old online banking situation going on, and credit unions are usually really popular when it comes to people's minds, but the problem with credit unions is that they usually don't offer business checking accounts. Some do, some don't. So you just want to ask your credit union if you want to go with them. Credit unions are really popular with a lot of people because they're technically a non-profit, so they're more likely to help you and give you more benefits, of course. And so once you have your business checking account set up, you can go get a business credit card, or the banker that set up your checking account might just offer you a business credit card right then and there. With high-ticket dropshipping, you'll need a high credit limit, so make sure you do that. You'll want to get at least $5,000 to $10,000 in credit limit to get started. Now, if you have problems with that or you have bad credit, there are other options called secured credit cards. You'll need a bit of cash up front, but you can get a secured credit card, put in $5,000 or $10,000 onto that, and then it'll have enough credit line to allow you to run your business that way. So it's up to you which direction you go, and if you need to improve your credit, just do what you can to improve your credit. Call up any creditors that have put bad things in your credit report and try to get them to take it off, or just call the credit reporting agencies and ask them to remove them, and what process you have to go through to do that. Make sure you pay all your cards on time, and basically just get small credit cards and use them, and you'll build up your credit score. All right, so one of the last things you'll need in order to get started, especially with high-ticket dropshipping, is you're going to need a seller's permit in your state. A seller's permit is something that says that you are legally able to resell products, and you don't have to pay the sales tax to your supplier. You can charge sales tax on any orders that come from your state, and you'll need to remit that to your state. Okay, so some suppliers are located in just one state. Some suppliers have tons of different nexuses in different states. So it really depends on what state you're in, and it depends on your supplier as to what states they're in, as to what states that they're going to charge you sales tax on when the product ships. Okay, so for example, if you're in California and your supplier's in California and an order comes from California, then your supplier will not charge you sales tax, but you will charge your customer sales tax, and then you will have to remit that to the state. Let's say you're in California, your supplier's in New York State, and the item ships to Florida, okay? Because of the 3 different places going on here, you don't actually have to charge sales tax, and you don't have to remit any sales tax, and your supplier is not going to charge you sales tax either. So that's a 0 sales tax transaction. As long as your business doesn't bring in more than over $1 million in any particular state, any particular year, then that's how it works for you. For small businesses, you're still clear. For bigger businesses, once you start crossing a certain threshold in certain states, they are going to require you to file for income tax or sales tax and to file the sales taxes. That's why you'll notice a lot of time now on Amazon when you go shopping that they charge sales tax in various states. It's just part of the game. They've created e-commerce sales taxes now, and you can look that up on your own. Okay. All right, so I recommend a certain service for filing an LLC called InkFile. If you want to go and check them out, the link is in the description below, or you can type ecommerceparadise.com/InkFile into your browser. I personally have used them in the past, and they're very easy and provide you all the paperwork you need in a very quick amount of time, and it's perfect. So I recommend them for filing your LLC. Really makes it easy. And once you have all this stuff done, the last thing I recommend you doing is to protect your privacy by getting what's called a virtual mailbox. Virtual mailboxes are very useful because it's basically like a P.O. box, but they'll actually scan your mail when it arrives. And by the way, the address that they give you is not a P.O. box number, but it's actually like a suite at a corporate office, which is really cool. So it looks more professional. And so when your mail arrives, they'll scan it for you, and they can even rescan it. So if you have like credit cards arrive and stuff, they can rescan those so you can get those and get them activated. But it's really useful because they actually receive your mail for you, okay? So you don't have to deal with a bunch of junk mail, and you can just have things shredded, and you don't have to ever deal with physical mail ever again, which is really, really nice. I've used a virtual mailbox for the last 5 years, and I love it. The recommended service I use is Traveling Mailbox. Link is in the description, or you can go to ecommerceparadise.com/traveling-mailbox. I love them because they have a really easy to use platform, fast customer service and support, and everything is really easy to do through their platforms. I used other ones, especially ones that are issued by the same people that file LLCs for you, and they're just not as good. The customer service is by email, and it's just kind of a hassle. So that's why I recommend doing that. Now, to put one last note on this video, if you guys have trouble getting started, like if you're young, for instance, and you just don't have the credit or you don't have the capital up front, but you want to start a business, and you want to sell high-ticket products and do high-ticket dropshipping, you'll have to get some sort of a business partner that already has credit built up or some capital and is willing to go in with you on it, okay? That's what I had to do in the beginning. When I first got started, I was 21 years old, or something like that, maybe 22. I was too young, and I didn't have all the credit built up that I needed. And so I got a business partner just by talking around and networking, and he was able to help me to start the business and get the credit card, and I was able to do a lot of the work and keep track of the finances, and I'm very responsible on that. And so we created a good business, and we ran it. Now, the only reason the partnership eventually broke apart was because he just didn't want to be involved in the business as it scaled and grew. He didn't want to scale and grow with the business, so unfortunately things kind of fell apart after that, which is totally fine. He was an awesome person and still is, and I really, really am grateful that I was able to build that business in the first place with him, because without that experience, I wouldn't be able to do it on my own today and help other people with that. So thank you, Scott, if you're out there watching this video. This kind of thing, you guys, is really, really useful because a partner can bring a lot more than just credit to the situation. They can bring like a person to bounce ideas off of. They might even have other connections, other ideas, things like that. And a business can grow a lot more when you have a partnership. So even if you have to split it both ways, 50-50, a partnership can grow a business 10x way faster than if you're by yourself and you don't really know what you're doing and you get distracted easily. So it's a really good idea to have a partner on board, especially for your first maybe 3 to 5 years of your business, so that you have more experience in that time and you can build your business faster, okay? All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want more information, go to the blog, ecommerceparadise.com. Links are below in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I personally respond to all the comments. Thanks so much, and I look forward to helping you become successful with high-ticket dropshipping.